What if the push you felt wasn't from behind you? What if your last step was never meant to land? And what if every fall down the staircase wasn't an accident, but a pattern, a ritual, a whisper only the wall could hear? This story begins where logic ends, on a staircase with no hand to blame, and no one left to speak clearly. I didn't believe it at first. No one did. The first time I saw the footage, it looked fake, like someone edited in the fall. But there was no one behind him. No shadow, no footstep, just a sudden, violent jolt. Then silence, and that sound of his skull cracking against stone. My name's Tyler McRae. I was the third, but the first to survive. At least that's what the reports say. But I'm not sure I did survive. Not all of me. The staircase is old. London, East End. Abandoned housing block. Long sealed off after the fires in '96. Except someone's been going in. Kids. Urban explorers. Ghost chasers. They call it Croft Hollow steps. I went there on a dare. Laughed as I walked up. Lost count halfway down. Then I felt it. Not a hand. Not a shove. But pressure. Cold. Pulsing through my lower back. Like fingers made of breath. I fell. I screamed. And just before I hit the stone, I swear I saw a face. In the wall. Not in the bricks. In the shadow between them. They said I was in shock. That I hallucinated the face. That my spine just gave out. But then came the CCTV. A motion-triggered cam. A safety inspector testing urban decay. The footage caught it all. My body jerking forward. Without cause. No wires. No trip hazard. Just as if something grabbed me from the inside. Frame by frame, they analyzed it. Then they stopped returning my calls. Deleted their uploads. Vanished from social. And now someone else has fallen. Same stairs. Same blind spot. Same violence. But this time, the camera caught something else. A shape. Not a person. Not a shadow. Something folding the air around it. And the police? They say it's a hoax. They always do, before someone else hits the stone. She didn't scream. That's what haunts me most. No echo. No panic. Just a sudden drop. And the sickening silence that followed. It was like the air decided to let her go. As if gravity itself had made a choice. Her name was Jaina. And she was just trying to help me. I told her not to come. I told her the staircase was wrong. But Jaina never listened when I was scared. She thought my trauma was a puzzle. Something we could solve together. She was a trauma nurse. Tougher than me. Always looking for reason in chaos. That's what she said the night she died. If something pushed you, Ty, then maybe it left fingerprints. She brought gloves. A thermal cam. Even a sensor for sudden shifts in temperature. And when we got there, it was freezing. Even though the building had no windows, no airflow. Her breath hung in the air like smoke. Mine didn't. She took the steps slowly. One at a time. Counting under her breath. I stayed at the bottom, filming. Third step down. She paused. Ty, do you hear that? I didn't. Not yet. It sounds like whispering, behind the wall. I started to speak. Then the sound hit me. A low, rumbling click. Like a jaw locking open. And then grinding. We both turned to look. But there was nothing. No speaker. No air vent. Just crumbling brick and years of soot. Then she said something I'll never forget. It's not behind the wall. It's inside it. She turned to come back down. But her foot hovered too long. Like something held it in place. I shouted. She reached out her hand. But then, her body snapped forward. Hard. She didn't trip. She launched. Like something had hooked her spine. And yanked. She tumbled fast. Knees, shoulders, skull. And when she landed, everything went still. I rushed to her. Blood was already pooling. But her eyes were wide open. She wasn't dead. Not yet. Her lips moved. I leaned closer. Don't go up there, Ty. And then, a twitch in her fingers. A crackle in the air. The sensor, the one she clipped to her coat, lit up like a fire alarm. Temperature spike. But in reverse. It dropped. to -18 in less than a second. Then, a shriek. Not from her. Not from me. From somewhere above. But the staircase? It was empty. And yet, I felt something watching me. Not with eyes, but through the walls. Jaina died on impact. That's what the report says. Closed casket. No funeral service. But I saw her body move after. Just once. Like something inside her was rearranging before the medics arrived. And later that night, I got an email. No sender. No subject. Just a video file. Named after her. When I opened it, it wasn't footage of the fall. It was her, standing on the stairs, alone, smiling at the camera, whispering something I still can't unhear. It's not done yet, Ty. It wants more. What if the house you're standing in remembers your name? What if the walls keep score? Every footstep, every breath, every death. And what if the thing that pushed them wasn't trying to kill them, but trying to speak? It's been 6 nights since Jaina died. I haven't slept. Not really, because every time I close my eyes, I see her standing on those stairs. Not broken, not bleeding, just watching me, as if I'm the one who's haunting her. I've rewatched the video 100 times. Her smile is soft, unnatural, and her voice? It doesn't sound like her. There's a vibration underneath, like a second mouth, whispering from inside her throat. It wants more. I didn't understand, until I opened the second file. The one titled, Before. The footage is old, grainy, black and white. It shows the same staircase, but newer, polished banister, clean stone. A girl, maybe 11 years old, is standing at the top step. She's trembling, hands shaking. Behind her, a man, tall, thick coat, something clenched in his fist. He's shouting. There's no sound in the clip, but I can see her flinch with every word. She steps down once, twice. He follows. Then, he grabs her shoulder, and the screen flickers. 1 second she's there. The next, she's not. Just a blur, and a dark splash at the bottom of the stairs. I spent hours searching. I found a digitized archive in a private thread. Old urban planning reports. The staircase was part of Greymouth housing block. Condemned in '96. But its history, it goes back centuries. Before it was housing, it was a foundling ward, a place for abandoned children. Run by something called the Graft Institution. They rehabilitated the broken, according to their paperwork. But every building they touched eventually sealed off. Why? Because too many of the residents fell. Always the stairs. Always described the same way. It felt like someone pulled me. The step disappeared beneath me. There was no one there. Then suddenly, I wasn't standing anymore. Sound familiar? I couldn't stop digging. I even tried to warn people. Posted anonymously. CCTV stills. Thermal readings. Time codes. But no one listened. Worse, someone tried to shut me down. A message appeared on my locked laptop. Tyler, stop filming our staircase. I never told anyone where I lived. Never connected my name. That night, I heard footsteps. Inside my flat. 3 soft creaks. Just like the top of Croft Hollow steps. But when I got up, nothing. Until I opened the hallway door and saw footprints. Wet. Leading toward my bedroom. I started to lose time. Waking up in corners. Whispers leaking from light bulbs. I even recorded myself sleeping. On the second night, I saw her, Jaina, standing in the dark, next to my bed, smiling, but in reverse. Her mouth didn't open, it folded inward. And her voice? It was mine. Come back to the staircase, Ty. It remembers you. This thing, whatever it is, doesn't just hurt people. It inhabits them, replays them, like cassette tapes left on loop. But it's not just reenacting the past. It's recruiting. And the next time someone steps on those stairs, I don't think they'll fall. I think they'll stay. Because Jaina wasn't the last one. She was the first to say yes. Most people who fall down Croft Hollow's staircase don't stand up again. But one man did. And what he said afterward should have stopped all of us, should have ended the investigation. Instead, it made us go back. And it made me wonder, what if the fall isn't the worst part? What if getting back up means you brought something with you? I wasn't the only one obsessed. After Jaina, after the email, I posted to a forum for anomalous phenomena. Didn't use my real name. Didn't post the full CCTV. But someone found me anyway. Username, back from step 6. Real name, Ronan Vale. His message, I fell. I survived. But I didn't walk away alone. We met in public. A library cafe near Holborn. Ronan looked unfinished. That's the only word for it. His clothes were clean, but wrinkled like they hadn't been taken off. His fingers trembled, even when he wasn't holding anything. His left eye didn't blink right, and the first thing he said was, "It still talks to me. I just don't answer anymore." He was a demolition surveyor. 3 years ago, Croft Hollow was tagged for redevelopment. Ronan went in to map the structure. No ghost hunting, no horror story, just blueprints, measurements, numbers, until he hit the staircase. He said the air changed before his foot even landed. Not colder, denser, like something thick had been poured into the space, and his body had to push through it. You know when you're underwater? But in your lungs. Step 6. That's where it always happens. Where it happened to me. Where Jaina fell. Where the girl in the tape disappeared. That's where he froze. His legs wouldn't move. And then, the voice. Not from behind. Not above. Inside. "You're not supposed to be here yet, Ronan." And just like that, he was yanked downward, head over heels. But when he hit the bottom, he stood up, unhurt, unbroken. But something was wrong. He started speaking in his sleep. Not mumbling, declaring. His wife recorded it, posted clips to Reddit, thinking it was sleep paralysis. But the phrases weren't random. The wall must remember. Take one down, leave one behind. Make room on the 6th. The worst clip? She asked who he was dreaming about. And Ronan replied, "He's dreaming through me." He lost time, stopped recognizing faces, even his own. I shaved Ty, watched my hand move the razor, but I didn't feel it. I didn't even feel me. Then came the drawings, scratched into his desk, into the wall, into his skin. And a staircase, a man with no mouth, and no knees, just floating above the 6th step. Ronan traced the old records too, but further than I ever did. Beyond the housing authority, he found shipping manifests. In 1912, the property was owned by an experimental asylum. Unofficial, unregulated. They weren't curing patients, they were containing them. One subject, patient 6. Real name, unknown. Condition, perpetual resurgence syndrome. Translation, he kept dying and waking back up. But each time, he came back a little less, until finally, he didn't have a name, or a voice, or skin, just movement. I asked Ronan if he wanted help. He laughed. "You don't help a staircase, Tyler. You walk down it, or you don't." Then he handed me something. A photograph, black and white, crumpled, water-stained. It showed Croft Hollow. Only it wasn't abandoned. In the center of the image, a man with no face, standing on the 6th step. And behind him, a girl, alive. And she looked exactly like Jaina. Ronan disappeared the next day. Left his phone, wallet, keys on the table. His front door was still locked from the inside. Only one thing was missing, the photo. Except when I got home that night, it was waiting on my kitchen counter, folded neatly, fresh. And this time, the girl wasn't behind the man. She was smiling next to him. The staircase isn't the only thing hiding something. Sometimes, it's the walls around it, the floor above it, the silence behind a neighbor's door. Because the next piece of this nightmare didn't come from the fall. It came from the person who'd been listening to them all along, from the room right above the staircase. She was never on the CCTV. Until now. Her name was Magda Dre, 68 years old. lived in the flat directly above the Croft Hollow staircase. Before the building was condemned, she was the last tenant to leave. Except, she never really left. Because after Jaina's death, after Ronan vanished, and after I received that photo again, I tracked down the building's original tenant list. And her name? It had a red stamp across it. Notified but non-compliant. I found her, off-grid, living in a caravan on the coast of Kent. No internet, no ID. But when I mentioned the staircase, her hands started to shake. She didn't make eye contact. She just said, "It never starts with a push. It starts with a whisper you don't realize you heard." She told me her story slowly, like every word cost something. Magda moved into Croft Hollow in 1974, back when the building was still halfway decent. Her room faced the staircase. She said it always made her uneasy, but not because of the stairs themselves, because of what she heard through the floorboards. Whispers, always at 3:09 a.m., never louder than a breath, and always ending with a thump. Magda thought it was her neighbors at first. Late-night arguments, footfalls, broken dishes, until she realized no one lived below her. Not for the first 2 years. The flat had been sealed. Still every night, 3:09, a shuffle, a child's voice humming a lullaby, and then, that thump. Magda placed a glass against the floor, once, and what she heard. 1 step, 2 step. 6 is where the shadows rest. She moved the next morning, upstairs, top floor, but the staircase kept getting louder. Before she left, Magda tried to warn the council. She even recorded the sounds, tapes, dozens of them, but when she played them back, there was only static, except one, tape 11, dated November 3rd, 1982, labeled simply, "Don't listen." She gave me the tape, said I was the only person who ever came looking for it, and that I'd already heard its voice. I just didn't know it yet. I digitized the recording. It starts slow, nothing unusual. Then the audio cracks, and a voice comes through, but it's mine, my voice, saying, "Jaina, step back. Please, don't look at it. It remembers you." The voice clip was made 43 years before I was born. I stared at the waveform on my laptop, watched my voice curve and echo like it had always been there. I wasn't even scared. Not at first. I was empty, like I was realizing this had already happened, that I wasn't investigating this story. I was fulfilling it. Then I looked closer at the background of the digitized video, frame by frame, and there, just visible behind a crack in the stair wall, a symbol, burned into the stone, not drawn, branded, a circle, a staircase, and an eye with no pupil. I pulled every report. No one had ever mentioned it, except one person. In a psychiatric document from 1913, patient 6 had drawn the symbol on his cell wall, over, and over, and over. I called Magda the next morning. No answer. I drove back to Kent. Her caravan was empty, the door wide open. No sign of struggle. No suitcase. Just a piece of rope, swinging gently from the ceiling beam, and scratched into the wall, with her own fingernail. Step 6 is not a place, it's a choice. That night, I heard footsteps in my hallway again, but this time, they stopped right outside my bedroom door. Then a knock, 3 times. I didn't answer, but in the morning, a staircase had been drawn on my ceiling, in black ash. I thought this was about ghosts, about trauma, about some haunted building with a cursed stairwell. But I was wrong. This isn't a haunting. It's a loop, a ritual. And I'm not in danger. I'm the next step. Because just now, I got a new email. No sender. Just 3 words. Tyler, step 6. There's a reason no one sees what pushes them. Because step 6 isn't on the staircase. It is the staircase. And once you step there, you're not in your world anymore. You're in it. I didn't want to go back. I told myself it was over. Jaina was gone. Ronan was missing. Magda had left. And that email, Maybe it was just a cruel prank. But then the dreams came back. Only they weren't dreams. They were memories. Memories I never lived, but remembered anyway. I'd wake up in a cold stairwell, blood on my palms, my teeth loose in my mouth. Jaina calling me from the shadows, but using someone else's voice. And always, that number, 6, drawn into the floor, etched into my skin, ringing like a countdown I didn't understand. Until I realized, it wasn't telling me where to go. It was telling me what I am. Came back to me out of nowhere. I was 8. We lived in a temporary flat during the flood renovations. I remember standing at the top of the building staircase. One night when my mum thought I was asleep. I looked down. There were no lights, just silence. But I remember it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then, I stopped. I never took step 6. Something pulled me away. I thought it was fear. Now I think something stopped me from entering then. But not anymore. I didn't bring a camera. No flashlight. Just my phone. Set to record audio. I entered Croft Hollow just after midnight. The gate was open. No lock. No squatters. Like something was waiting. The air was wrong. Thick. Muffled. Like sound had weight. I walked the corridor. My shoes didn't echo. The walls absorbed it. And then, the staircase. It looked the same. And completely different. Every step slightly off angle, like it had shifted just enough to matter. But it was step 6 that felt alive. Pulsed. Not with light, with intent. Like a throat waiting to be fed. I stood above it. Listened. There was no wind. No traffic. No building moans. Just a heartbeat. Faint. And not mine. Then I stepped down. Step 1, my ears rang. Step 2, my teeth ached. Step 3, my phone buzzed with no signal. Step 4, my name whispered behind me. Step 5, my vision doubled. And step 6, nothing. Not falling. Folding. It was like time inverted. One blink and the staircase was gone. I was in a room. No windows. No lights. Just stairs. Endless. Spiraling downward. And at the bottom, a figure. Bent. Faceless. Its arms too long. His body stitched from others. And its head? It was wearing my face. I couldn't move. Not because of fear. Because I felt like I already had. Like this moment had played before. It raised a hand. Not to strike. To point. Behind me. At another figure stepping forward. Jaina. But not like I remembered. She was smooth. No eyes. No lips. But she smiled. And then she said, "Welcome back, Tyler. You've been so loud from the other side." Jaina told me this isn't a haunting. It's a filtration. A ritual. Step 6 is a door. Not just between spaces, but between versions of people. Whoever crosses it doesn't come back the same. They don't die. They shed. And what's left behind is just a skin the staircase wears for someone else. To whisper. To watch. To invite. Ronan didn't survive. He was used. So was Magda. So was I. And Jaina? She never fell. She followed it down. I asked her if I could leave. If I could return and stop others from stepping down. Jaina said, "You can leave. But when you do, you won't be you. You'll be it." And I felt it. The hunger. The staircase doesn't kill people. Collects them. Like stories. Like tools. One for the push. One for the scream. One for the silence. And one to bring the next. I realized what Ronan meant. He didn't survive Croft Hollow. He became its invitation. I don't remember leaving the building. But I'm home now. Or something wearing me is. Because when I blink, the walls ripple. When I speak, my voice echoes before I finish. And last night, I found a new email on my phone. From my account. To my entire contact list. No message. Just a link. To the CCTV footage. The one with Jaina falling. The one that starts everything. The one that calls you in. And below the video, one line of text. Will you take step 6? Have you ever watched yourself from the outside? Watched your hand move before your brain told it to? Heard your voice Say something you didn't think? That's not a glitch in your mind. It's a shadow, a residue, from what followed you home. Because the truth about Croft Hollow isn't that it haunts you, copies you, and I'm not sure who's telling you this anymore. Me, or it. I haven't slept in 3 days, and yet I keep waking up. Each time, it's darker in my flat. Not outside, inside. Like the shadows are stretching wider, pressing in from the corners. Like they're waiting. I don't recognize my own voice anymore. It lags. Like it has to pass through something before it reaches my ears. But I had to finish this. I had to know. Was there anyone before me? Anyone who got this far and escaped? So I went deeper, back to the records, the forums, the underground boards that don't have URLs. And I found her. One person who stepped on 6 and stepped away. Her name is Neria Mott, a retired forensic technician. She worked in Croft Hollow in 1992 before the fire. I had to meet her in person. No phones, no recordings. She insisted. She lives alone now, rural, remote, surrounded by salt circles and rusted knives hanging above her windows. She didn't open the door right away. She smelled me first. And when I stepped in, she winced. "You've been inside it, haven't you?" she said. "I can hear it humming behind your breath." She told me what I already feared. No one who steps on 6 comes back whole. But some, a very few, can resist the folding, can carry the entity long enough to understand it. Neria did, but at a price. She told me Step 6 was never part of the original building. It was added, not by architects, by something older, something buried beneath the land. A fragment of space where death doesn't quite finish, where pain doesn't echo, it grows. Each person who falls there doesn't die. They become a filter, an instrument. Step 6 isn't a location. It's a function, a place where memory and identity fracture and get rewritten into something else. Jaina, Ronan, Magda, even Neria, they weren't consumed. They were repurposed. And me? I'm next. Neria handed me a mirror, told me to look, but not at my face, at my reflection's eyes. They blinked out of sync. She nodded. "It's almost finished with you." I begged her for a way out. She said there's only one way to weaken its hold. Tell the story, in full. No edits, no lies. Get people to see Step 6. Get them to remember it. Because Step 6 thrives in silence. It feeds on forgetting. But if the story is spoken, if it's told the right way, it stops becoming a secret. And secrets lose power when they're dragged into the light. So this has been the ritual, not the staircase. This, you, listening, watching, imagining each fall, each breath, each crack of the skull on cold concrete. You've been walking it with me, step by step. And now, you're standing above Step 6, right here, right now. So I need to ask you something, a question that may already be too late to answer. Do you feel that? In your spine? That tingle? Like someone's behind you? That's how it starts. That's how it finds you. When you let the story in too deep. But here's your out. You can close this right now. Walk away. Pretend this was fiction. A spooky video on a random channel. Or, you can replay it. Share it. Send it to someone who's been hearing footsteps when no one's home. And you can ask them, have you ever taken Step 6? Because someone will. And when they do, they'll stop being who they were and become what the staircase has always been building. The CCTV footage was never taken down. It's still online. Millions of views. No one knows who uploaded it. But they all remember one thing. There was no one behind the victims. Just a shiver in the air. A flicker in the frame. And a shadow that didn't belong to anyone. And if you go frame by frame, slow it down just right, you'll see a pair of eyes in the wall, watching, still, waiting, for you. Do you think this was a ghost? Or something worse? Comment below. And if you're brave enough to take the next step, subscribe to the Veil of Secret. For more terrifying true stories,